Hello all, very good morning. In today's topic, I would like to continue the yesterday's class, that is dengue. So in part 1 of this class, we have seen regarding the clinical manifestations, epidemiological aspect and introductory part of dengue. We have seen what is the diagnostic test and everything. So today I would like to discuss you regarding the prevention and control of dengue here. Coming to prevention and control here, you need efforts at all the levels. Not only the individual level, it requires at family level, community level, and the government has to contribute. So everyone, including the institutions, everybody has to take part in preventing this spread of epidemic. So it is not a problem of one individual, or it is not a problem of one family, or it is not a problem of one community. Everyone are facing this epidemic here. So in order to prevent, you need some kind of collective measures. So these collective measures are mainly done when everyone are coming into one platform, and if they're working, they can go for this prevention and control. So we'll see one by one here at household level. So if you want to prevent, first of all, you need to kill those adult mosquitoes. So when you have killed these adult mosquitoes, then they cannot lay the eggs, and the eggs cannot go into further stages, so that we can prevent the population of mosquito. So here, in order to kill these mosquitoes, you need to use all the commercially available aerosols such as pyrethroid based aerosols. So these pyrethroid based aerosols, they mainly help in killing these mosquitoes. You need to spray them in the bedrooms and the closest areas. So as we have seen, the breeding areas, where these mosquitoes will grow, they are mainly growing in the areas where there is stagnant water, and where the areas are closed, and where the areas are wet and dark. So you need to focus in those types of areas. So you need to spray in the bedrooms, because you live all the time there, and as they are day biters, they always seek to enter into the bedroom and bite. So they bite repeatedly. So in order to stop those things, you need to spray in the bedroom, you need to spray in the closest, you need to spray in the bathrooms, because the bathrooms are always left open with water in them. So those areas will become a great place for breeding of these mosquitoes. So you need to check the bathrooms also, you need to spray in these kitchens also. And by removing, you need to remove, or you need to cover all the food items. So what are all the food items that are there? Before spraying these pyrethroid based aerosols, you need to cover them. If not, if it is possible, you need to remove those food items properly from those, then only you need to spray these aerosols in the room. So once you have sprayed this aerosol, pyrethroid based aerosol, you need to close the room, you need to shut the room for at least 15 to 20 minutes, so that the chemical work is taking place there, and what are all the mosquitoes that are there that are being killed. And nextly, the timing of spraying. So whenever you want to spray, it should not be like a day or night, or it should be coincide with the peak biting types. So when these mosquitoes are biting us, peak means they are biting us peak mainly in the early morning and late afternoon. So you need to spray the aerosols in the when the biting times are there. So the biting times are morely in the early morning and late afternoon. And what kind of aerosols need to be sprayed here means mainly pyrethroid based aerosols are need to be sprayed. Nextly, you should intensify the efforts to reduce the actual or potential larval habits, so in or around the houses. So what you have to do, you should use commercially available repellents during the daytime. And what are all the water containers that are present around the house or in the house, they should be covered properly to prevent fresh egg laying. So if the adult is coming and laying fresh eggs, again the larvae is developing there. From larva it will develop into pupa, again the pupa is developing into adult mosquito. So again it is being a big headache there. So in order to prevent the life cycle of this mosquito, you need to cover the containers, because those are the favoring areas for their breeding. Nextly, whatever, if there are children in the home, those children, they should be kept under the bed. So they should be kept under the bed nets during the day. So if you are not using any kind of nets on the bed, again the child is being exposed to the mosquitoes, again the child may get mosquito bite and he may result in dengue. And you can say that the adults are safer than compared to the children, because the children are being killed here with this dengue fever. At least you should wear some protective clothing to the baby. And nextly, use some tight fitting screens or wire or mesh on the doors and windows. So these things will prevent mainly the entry of mosquitoes into the bedroom or the living area, so that you can be free from the disease. And nextly, what are all the closed gutters or flat roofs are there? So if you have any poor drainage system, so those drainage system or those drainage areas, they need to be checked regularly to prevent the breeding of these mosquitoes. And nextly, you should use ornamentally water tanks or gardens. For example, this larvaceous fish. So what is this larvaceous fish? Whatever all the larva that is there in the water, these fishes will go and eat. So for example for these fishes are like gambuza and guppy. So these are all the some of the fishes that were larvaceous. So if you are able to use those type of fishes, so whatever the larva that the mosquito is laying there, so these fishes will go and eat them, so that the larva is not being developed into the other stages. So this is the prevention level at household level. Now we'll see at institutional level. So students or employees, so these persons, they should have proper health education. They should have health education in all the aspects of the dengue. So how to treat, how to detect, how to eliminate breeding, so where you can find these mosquitoes, how you can eliminate the breeding places, favoring places, so in or around the schools or homes or neighborhood. So you should always advise them to wear protective clothing. So protective clothing means nothing but full sleeve shirts and full pants during the daytime, so that the biting areas will be reduced and mosquito biting also will come down. So ornamental water tanks or gardens, so you should use larvaceous fish. And weeds, whatever the weeds that are growing in or around the institution or your home or at neighborhood, and what are all the tall grasses that are there, they should be cut down. So whenever you are cutting those tall grasses and whenever you are cutting those weeds, the shading places for their resting are being destroyed, and these mosquitoes, they are exposed to the sun, so that they will die. And nextly, in case of if the water containers are there and if you are unable to empty those containers, then you have to use this Temphos 1 ppm weekly, so that the larva or the mosquitoes breeding favoring condition will be reduced. So this is at institutional level. Coming to the community level, so you need to have groups mainly to supplement and reinforce the efforts of the household levels. So you need to identify the commercial activities, mainly traders or who are dealing with the tires. So whenever if you see the traders who are dealing with the tires, these tires are left over on the empty places. So whenever the rainfall is occurring, the water is becoming stagnant in those tires, and those places are becoming there as a breeding places. So you need to find out those type of places and you need to destroy those type of places, and you need to create an awareness regarding the dengue, and you should gain cooperation for the removal of breeding places. So this is the thing which has to be done at community level. So if you see here, community activities against the larva and adult mosquito. So what are all the activities that can be taking place against this means, what as we are discussing, first of all you need to remove the breeding places. So what are all the breeding places here? So you should cover or you should clean the water storage containers. All the surroundings should be kept clean, and you should improve basic sanitation measures. You should burn mosquito coils. Burning, you should burn neem leaves or coconut shells or husks to repel the mosquitoes, mainly to eliminate the breeding sites. So these are all the naturally available things that can be given to us freely, so that whenever you are using, the mosquitoes can be avoided from those type of places. Nextly, screening the houses, particularly the bedrooms. So you need to close, as we are discussing, the person stays in the bedroom for a long time when he is compared to the living room, because they sleep during the night and they do not know what is happening. Even in the mornings also, when they're sleeping in their bedrooms, if they do not use, if they do not cover their body, so during early hours and late afternoon, in such times the bedrooms become favorite spots for the mosquitoes, because they can suck the blood and they can bite the prey their individual constantly. So you need to screen the houses, particularly the bedrooms, and you should clean the weeds. As we are discussing, the tall grasses, what they do, they provide the resting, they provide shadow, and the shadow is helping them to get rested there. So in order to eliminate those resting places, you need to cut down the tall grass and as well as weeds, and you should use mosquito nets. So whenever you are mainly placing the child, you should place them under the nets on the bed. You need to place them under the nets on the bed. So either they may be infants or small children, they should be protected during the daytime from these bitings. Nextly, action by local authorities during an outbreak. So here you need constitution of emergency action committee and rapid action committee. So here emergency action committee, so it is also called as EAC. So it should be constituted under the chairmanship of this municipal commissioner or district commissioner. So what you have to do, they should coordinate the activities that were aimed at emergency vector control measures and management of serious cases. So administrators, epidemiologists, entomologists, clinicians and laboratory specialists, school health officers, health educators, representatives of other related sectors, everyone has to take part in this emergency action committee during the epidemic. So here, to take all the administrative actions and to coordinate activities mainly aimed at management of serious cases in all medical care centers, and they have to undertake emergency vector control measures. So whenever they are controlling the vectors, means the disease which is mainly being caused by the vectors has been reduced, so that the number of cases can be reduced and the persons can be saved here. So to draw urgent plans of action and resource mobilization that is related to the medicines or intravenous fluid or blood products or insecticides or equipment or vehicles. So in order to draw the urgent plans, you need to have this emergency action committee. Nextly, to liaise with intersectoral committees and to mobilize resources from non-health sectors, mainly from urban development or management of education or management of information or legal department or water supply, waste disposal information. Mainly all these areas, why you need means urban development, management of education, management of information, all these areas are mainly spreading the information. So urban development will mainly focus on eliminating the breeding potential places for the vector, so that the mosquitoes are being destroyed and the number of cases can be reduced. Mainly to interact with news media and non-governmental organizations for the dissemination of information which is related to the health education and community participation. So you should make use of the news media and non-governmental organizations. So through these institutions, so through these organizations, you can get the community participation. Nextly, rapid action team. So mainly to undertake the urgent epidemiological investigations, you need this rapid action team, mainly to provide the spot technical guidance that is required, and logical support has to be given by this rapid action team. So at state level, it consists of epidemiologists, entomologists and laboratory specialists, and at local levels it consists of municipal officer, public health officer, non-health staff and local government staffs. So what are the functions? Mainly they are there to undertake the urgent epidemiological or entomological investigations. They provide emergency logistic support, means delivery of medical and lab supplies to the particular area, and provide on the spot management training for local health staff. So how to manage, so they provide the management training for the local health staff. And nextly, supervise the elimination of breeding places and application of vector control measures. So how they are applying the vector control measures, how they are supervising, they will check everything. Nextly, they carry out health educational activities and collection of serum specimens. So in order to diagnose, if you have seen the other part, we know how to diagnose the how to confirm what is a probable case and what is a confirmed case of this dengue. So in order to confirm whether it is probable or confirmed, you need to go for this serum specimens. Nextly, vector control measures. So for epidemic control, so vector control is the most important strategy, mainly to reduce the transmission. So adult mosquitoes can be controlled using the chemical insecticides. So you should emphasize rapid and effective source reduction, mainly for the elimination of breeding sites, so that the vectors will achieve, means that what are all the vector sites are there for breeding, they will be reduced, so that you can achieve proper success over there. So larval control is more economical and sustainable. So what we are doing, we are eliminating newly emergent adult mosquitoes. So if you are eliminating newly emergent adult mosquitoes, then there are no mosquitoes to keep the eggs again, so that the mosquitoes are not being produced. Once the life cycle is done, this larva and the as well as the mosquitoes are dying there. Nextly, chemical. So it is ineffective in most conditions, but rarely epidemic conditions will be controlled with this chemical use. So because of the visibility, people think that government is doing something. So it is a false sense of security here. What it is doing during the dengue time, so the persons will come with one smoke gun and they will smoke everything and they will go off. So this cannot reduce. It may be useful in the epidemic situation, but in sometimes every time it is not useful. You need to take control measures of all these things. You need to take control measures personally, individually, family level, at community level, and institutional level also. So what this one is giving, it is giving us false sense of security. So you need to remove those things. Nextly is space spraying. So as we are discussing, we need to spray in the indoor spaces. So pyrethrum extract after dilution is sprayed. So you should spray this pyrethrum extract. And nextly, you should use commercial formulation, that is 2% pyrethrum extract, which is diluted with kerosene 1:19 and 0.1% pyrethrum extract. It is ready to spray as a formulation. Nextly, 1 liter of ready to spray formulation, it is sufficient to cover about 20 households. So each household should have each household which is having 100 cubic meters of indoor space. So for 20 households, 1 liter of this spray is needed. So what is the commercial formulation? 2% of pyrethrum extract, it is diluted with kerosene, that is 1:19%, and it is bringing us what? 0.1% pyrethrum extract, which is ready to spray. So this spray 1 liter, it can cover up to 20 households. So if each house is having like 100 cubic meters of indoor space, so 1 liter is sufficient for 20 households. Coming to the advantages of this indoor pyrethrum space spray, means these are non-toxic to humans and they non-target organisms at recommended dose. So if you take this spray equipment, it is very simple, cheap, and it is readily available in the market at all affordable prices, and householders they alone can dilute and they can spray in their own premises, and vectors haven't developed the resistance with this natural product. Coming to the outdoor space spraying. So here, minimum volume of liquid insecticide is applied in a unit area with maximum effectiveness. So most of the OPs, means most of the outdoor spacings here, if you see, they can be applied as ULV spray. So presently it is a technical maltion. So insecticide is broken down into small droplets of VMD, that is at the size of 40 to 80 microns. So whatever the remain is there, it is suspended for an appreciable time and driven out under the influence of wind. So as no dilution is needed here, the more cost effective than the thermal fogging. So equipment is portable, motorized, knapsack bowlers, and cold aerosol generators. Coming to the advantages of this ULV spray, you can say it as a cold fog also. It uses less use of insecticide and dilutant. It is mostly ready to use formulation. So low fire hazard, it is having relatively more or less environmental friendly. So efficient application is there. Practically no visibility reduction due to the ULV frost, and it is not visible like a thermal fog. Coming to the thermal fogging. So principle here is, insecticide is vaporized, it is condensed to a fine cloud of droplets on contact with the cooler air. So once the fog comes out of the machine, it spreads into different directions so that the larvae is being killed here. So we have, Malthion and pyrethrum, they are the major insecticides that were used in the thermal fogging, and psychologically it is more acceptable as it generates high visibility of fog. People can find high visibility of fog, so that they will think that something has been sprayed into the air and they trust it more. What are all the equipment that you need is thermal fogger, mist blowers, and which are vehicle mounted. So this is the thermal fogging. Coming to the advantages and disadvantages here, these are less insecticide in large volume of diluent, so easily visible for fog, resulting sense of satisfaction. So these two are the advantages. Coming to the disadvantage, large volume of organic solvent, it is very expensive, and fog causes decreased visibility and it may cause the traffic visibility, and burning of diluent, so it is not environmental friendly, and it can increase the temperature of the machine operation. So if you take these organic solvents, they are very inflammable and there are risk for fire. Coming to the larval control measures, so you need to remove, dispose or bury all the burning of all unused tins, cans, jars, bottles, tires, coconut shells, husks, and other items that can collect the water. So if you are able to remove these breeding places, it cannot lay the eggs and the larva cannot be grown. As I have discussed, this larva can stay up to 1 year without any kind of water. So you need to prevent this. Instead of going for the risk, you need to prevent, you need to discard all these things. So keeping water, all the tires, metal boxes, discarded appliances or skins or basins or cement tanks, etc., water, all the things are there, you need to prevent them from collecting the rain water. You should arrange cleanup campaigns, so mainly twice or thrice a year by the local community, and all the local leaders should remove all unusual containers and potential breeding sites, so that the larvae can be decreased here. And you should turn water drums into small ethylene jars, and you should use this periodically. Scrub means you should scrub your water tanks. You should wash your water tanks periodically, mainly to destroy if any kind of eggs that are present. And you should try to empty, means you should try to regularly empty the water in the flower vases in the houses, offices. At least a week you should try to remove this. You should cover the water tanks as we are discussing. You should clean, you should plug them properly, and what are all the coconut studs that are there, you should dispose of them properly. Puncturing holes that were there in the tire, they should be kept out of the parks, out of the children, out of the schools, and you should drain the lodged water from the tree holes. So for example, if a tree is there, if there is any holes are there in those areas also, these mosquitoes will try to grow. So you need to remove the tree holes. Whenever you want to filter the water, you should use a cloth trap, so that whenever you are filtering, if there are any larvae or pupae are present, those can be destroyed. And you should introduce this larvaceous fish in the containers, mainly to eat this mosquito larvae. And if water containers, if they are cannot be emptied, you should use Tempos, that is 1 ppm on weekly basis. You should try to apply. Nextly, surveillance. You have epidemiological as well as entomological surveillance needs. They needs to be intensified. So whatever the fever cases that are presenting, if you monitor any kind of signs and symptoms, you should inform them to higher areas. And activities, mainly the activity with the health workers, mainly they has to use to find out any kind of fever cases that were associated with the arthralgia and arthritis for early diagnosis and early treatment. So if the patient is complaining fever with arthralgia or arthritis, you can go for the diagnosis, and if you find out any suspect case of dengue, you can treat. And nextly, you need this vector surveillance. So vector surveillance, it should include both adult as well as aquatic stages of the mosquito. So they should be intensified, and you have to help them in identifying the areas for initiation of control measures of this mosquitoes. So if you find any types of vectors, if you find any types of favoring places of these vectors, you have to identify and you should go for the control measures so that you can have an impact there. And nextly, health or medical or health institutions or professional associations or private practitioners, NGOs, they should be involved for reporting fever as well as proper case management. So all these persons, because a single health nurse cannot identify all the cases. So if anyone in the community, if they are identifying any cases with arthralgia or arthritis which is associated with fever, then you have to send those cases to the further treatment, further investigation, so that you can diagnose them easily, you can treat them easily, and you can also go for the control measures in the society. Nextly, epidemiological surveillance. So here, what are all the indicators for this epidemiological surveillance? Means all the suspected cases, dengue or severe dengue, they should be reported. And what are all the cases that were confirmed? So you should take the note of those. And what are all the circulating serotypes? Either it is dengue 1, 2, 3 or 4. What kind of dengue serotype is circulating? You need to see, and you need to identify what are the number of deaths that are there during the dengue or severe dengue period, and number of deaths among the severe dengue cases, suspects or confirmed cases. So epidemiological survey, you need to gather this data. And vector surveillance. So you have larval surveillance, pupae surveillance, and adult surveillance. You also have Aedes aegypti index here. So if it is a larval surveys in household setting, so what is the percent of each houses? So means how many houses are infested with this larva or the pupae? What is the container index? So how many what is the age percentage of water holding containers that were infested with the larvae and pupae? And Pareto index means nothing but number of positive containers per 100 houses that has been inspected, you have to check. So nothing but you are checking the breeding spots. If you can able to control the breeding spots, then you can control these vectors. Nextly, they are going for pupae survey. So number of pupae per 100 houses inspected, means how many pupae are present in the houses. Adult, you need to estimate the adult population density, that is using by OV sticky traps. So what you are doing here, you are using the OVA or sticky traps mainly to see. So human landing collections, so all these things, how many mosquitoes are being collected there. So based on the mosquitoes that are being collected, they will identify the density of the population, so that you can go for this vector control measures. Here Aedes aegypti index means how many ages, what percentage of houses and premises that were there in a well defined area. So how many number of mosquitoes has been found. So whether how to keep the population in downwards, you need to check everything here. Nextly, IEC activities. So mainly you are educating the people here. So what is the mode of transmission, what are all the available treatment measures and control measures, and what are all the activities that has to be intensified to affect the changes in the practice of storage of water and personal protection. How to prevent the disease, how to do personal protective measures, and you should advise the corporate during the foraging, and you should always take measures for eliminating the breeding places. And special campaigns should be run. It should be run in local newspapers, radios, TV, outdoor publicity, hoardings, rails, everywhere. You should try to give education to the people, and interpersonal communication, it should be optimally utilized, and you should involve the non-governmental organizations and faith-based organizations, welfare organizations, and self groups, professionally associations like IMA or NCC in the schools and colleges, mainly to do this control activities. So these are all the IEC activities. Coming to the vaccine, you have dengue vaccine, which is CYD or TDV. So it is prophylactic, tetravalent, and live attenuated vaccine. So indication is like 9 to 45 years of age or 9 to 60 years of age. So during the dengue endemic cases only we are giving. So it can be given in single dose or multi-dose vial. They are freezed and dried. They can be reconstituted with 0.4% or 0.9% of sodium chloride. And here 3 subcutaneous injections, that is at the dose of 0.5 ml at 6 months intervals of time they are giving, and shelf life is about 36 months when it is stored between 2 to 8 degree Celsius. Coming to the contraindications, when history of severe allergic reaction to any component of the dengue vaccine. So after or prior to administration, you should check congenital or acquired congenital or acquired immunodeficiency, which is impairing cell mediated immunity, and if the mother is pregnant or breastfeeding woman, you should not give this vaccine. Coming to the legislative measures, we have model civic bylaws, we have building construction legislation act, we have environmental act, and we have health impact assessment. So under model civic, so under this act, so there is fine and punishment that is imparted if breeding is detected. So in cities like Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Chandigarh, and Delhi municipal corporations, if they find any favoring spaces of this breeding, so you will be fined, or you will also get the punishment. In building and construction regulation act, we have bylaws that should be made mainly to appropriate overhead and underground tax. So whatever the water tanks that you are building, they should be mosquito proof. So there should not be any kind of stagnation of water. So in Mumbai, prior to any construction activity, they has to deposit a fee mainly for controlling mosquitogenic conditions at site, mainly to the municipal corporation, so that whenever the construction work is going on, the stagnant water, they are favoring conditions. So whenever they are paying fee on the first terms itself, these municipal corporation, they will go and they will control the vector management measures. Nextly, Environmental Health Act. So whenever you are disposing whatever the junk that is being disposed, it should be disposed in a proper manner. You have to discard the things, old tires or other debris. So whenever you are disposing them, they should not hold any kind of rainwater or any kind of water in them, so that the breeding places can be stopped, and health impact assessment has to be done. So mainly here appropriate legislation should be formulated for mandatory health impact assessment prior to any development projects or major construction. So this is the health impact assessment. Coming to the global strategy for dengue prevention and control is, so mainly the goal is to reduce the burden of dengue. So coming to the objectives here, to reduce dengue mortality at least 50% by 2020, to reduce dengue morbidity at least 25% by 2020, and to estimate the true burden of disease by 2015. So we have achieved a lot here. So first of all, we need to diagnose the patient, you need to keep integrated surveillance, and you should use sustainable vector control, and future vaccine implementation has to be done, and basic operational and implementational research has to be done. So all these are some of the strategies that were used in the prevention of dengue and control. You can screenshot this and you can write in your notes. And we have a dengue application. So India fights dengue here. On 7th April 2016, they have released an Android based application. This is mainly to empower the community for their involvement and participation in the dengue control. So detailed information is there in this app, how to prevent it, what to do and what not to do, and where to go for help. You can check this in the dengue application. That's it. I hope you understood. These are all the control, prevention and control methods of dengue. So if you like the content, please like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for listening patiently. And if you have any queries, keep them in the comment box. Thank you. Thanks for watching.